And that does mean thank you. And we are going to be on our way. Well, hello everyone. My name is Cameron, and I'm going to be your safari guide here today on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. And there are just going to be a couple things that we do have to go over before we get started. And that is just to please remain seated the entire time, keeping those hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle as well. And with that being said, we are good to go. So up first, we are entering the Little Aturi Rainforest. And the animals here are going to rely pretty heavily on camouflage, so you really just have to keep your eyes out. But starting off on your right, that animal is one of my personal favorites. Now that is the okapi. And don't let those zebra stripes fool you, because the okapi is actually going to be the closest known relative and the only known relative to the giraffe. Then if you see that little darker animal walking next to the okapi, this is a really rare sight. That is the yellowback duiker, and we see it maybe once a month. So it's always really exciting to see that. Now that one is a younger one, so it's pretty tiny. But yellowback duiker, pretty self-explanatory. It has a yellow back, and duiker means diver, so it dives. But like I said, really cool. We never see that. Then over on your left, those cuties with the horns, those are the bongos. Now they're typically very good at camouflage, and they will be given the nickname the ghost of the forest, with both male and female having those horns. And then coming up on your right, on top of the hill, there is another antelope. That one's the greater kudu. And then an animal I miss literally all the time because it looks like a rock. Over on your left is a rhino. Where's the rhino? That is a black rhino, if you can see through the sun. It really blends in with the rocks. I miss it literally all the time. But like I said, that's a black rhino, and they're actually on the smaller side of the rhino scale. They range about 2,000 to 3,000 pounds fully grown, which is small for a rhino. And they're going to be incredibly solitary, so they do like to hang out alone most of the time. And another one of those greater kudu over on your right. So with those antelope, they are going to be the second largest antelope in the reserve, as they range about 5.5 feet to their shoulders. And with them, only the males have horns. So those ones that you saw were female. But I know that was a lot all at once. Now you have a couple seconds to breathe. But as we do leave the rainforest, we are now entering Safi River. And the animals in here are normally very aquatic. So as we pass, you just have to keep your eyes out for any shadows or air bubbles under the water. Now these lighter color birds over on your right, those are going to be the pink-backed pelicans on the island there. And they get their name from a very slight pink coloring on your back that you can kind of see with this one spreading its wings. But that's only going to get darker during mating season. Out of the water, but over on your left, if you can see through the pathway with the rocks, there's hippos. And those are the Nile hippopotamus. And hippos are actually going to be pretty funny in my opinion. So they absolutely love the water, but they do not like to swim. So instead, they're just going to walk or wade along the bottom of the water. And with that, they can actually hold their breath for up to 8 minutes at a time. And if a hippo truly wanted to, it could outrun you on land or even outswim you in water. But luckily for us, they're herbivores. They're just incredibly territorial. There's one in the water here on your left. But I do truly hope that no one ends up in that situation. But also on your left are the Nile crocodiles. And they are all scattered throughout there. Just about 16 to 19 feet long, and absolutely contrary to how they look, they're actually going to be incredibly gentle parents. So when their eggs are about ready to hatch, both mother and father will roll the eggs around in their mouth, and that's going to help out with incubation. And then once those eggs have already hatched in any form of danger, the mother will actually scoop up her babies in her mouth and carry them away to safety. But coming up on your right, this is a pretty interesting looking tree, but it's actually incredibly important. Now that is a baobab tree, and it's only going to have leaves for up to 3 months out of the entire year. But with that, it is going to be an incredible water source for most, if not for all of the animals on the savanna. And because it truly does help out with saving lives, it's going to be given several nicknames, including the upside down tree, as it kind of looks like it was put in upside down, but also the tree of life. And if that one sounds familiar, it probably should. But like I did mention, we are entering the savanna. The animals in here are going to be incredibly migratory, which in return makes them incredibly unpredictable. So we'll just have to see what we can spot. But it looks like, starting off on your right, the animal with the really big horns, that is the Ankole cattle. It's going to be one of the only domesticated animals on the reserve. As in Africa, they were found in a tribe that would use them as a symbol of wealth. So the more of them you had, the wealthier you were. And those horns look really big and scary, but they're actually going to be incredibly light. They're made up of a honeycomb-like material that just helps out with temperature regulation throughout their bodies. And there also is a giraffe over on your right, but I'm sure we'll see so many more of them. But it is a Maasai giraffe, and you can tell that based off of its spots. They're going to be more rigid and not distinctly in a line or pattern. But over on your left, they're up and about. Those are the African painted dogs. And they actually get their name for their spots. They kind of resemble swatter feet. And they're going to be unique to each and every one of them. Now they are very successful hunters. They have about a 98% success rate in hunting. And one of the only things that has a higher success rate than them is the dragonfly. But they are very pack oriented. They're actually going to do absolutely everything together. So they're not even going to fully get up in the morning until they've said good morning to each and every one of the other pack members. And then if you see kind of hidden behind the bushes on your left, there's an antelope there. That one is the eland. Like I said, it's behind the bushes. But it is going to be the largest antelope in the reserve, as they range about 6 feet to their shoulders. So including those horns, they can be about 9 feet tall. And something really cute about the eland, and pretty much all antelope in general, but when the males are trying to impress the ladies, they're going to stick their horns into bushes and flowers and create sort of a flower crown around their horns. And also over on your right are some wildebeest. Now a group of wildebeest together is called a confusion because they actually tend to run blind. So they're not really going to be looking where they go half the time, which kind of makes them look a little bit confused. But wildebeest are going to be very migratory animals. They're going to travel into herds up to 1 million. And at one point, the dust get from their migration could be seen all the way from space. But then if you want to try and spot some tiny antelope on your right, very, very far off in the distance by that dirt pathway there, there's some tiny antelope laying down. Now if you can see them, they are the springbok. They're going to be about 3 feet to their shoulders, but they are going to be incredible jumpers. They can jump about 6 feet high and 13 feet wide. So putting that into any kind of perspective, y'all are actually sitting 6 feet off of the ground, and this truck is exactly 13 feet long. So if these tiny antelope wanted to, that hopefully you can see on your right, they could completely clear straight through this truck. Now I'm hoping we'll see some more giraffes. Hoping. But they can actually be up to 20 feet tall, and they're actually going to be eating for up to 20 hours a day. I think they might be hidden somewhere else. Actually, there's some if you look on your left, by the gate thing. There's one back there, and another eland hidden within those bushes. So like I said, they can be up to 20 feet tall, and they're actually going to be eating for up to 20 hours a day. And so if you think about it, that's not really going to leave much time for sleeping. So instead, giraffes are going to sleep in quick 2 to 5 minute power naps, typically standing up. There's one on your right. Because they normally are going to have a very hard time bending over or laying down. So in total throughout the day, giraffes only get about 30 minutes of sleep. But as we do head deeper into the savannah, these next animals don't come out too often. But I'm hoping with saying that they're going to prove me wrong. So fingers crossed. And I think they will if you look on your right. It's an elephant. And we're going to try and get a little bit closer view. But that is an African elephant because it is from Africa. But if you're able to take a look at the shape of its ears, it kind of resembles the shape of Africa itself. Like I said, on your right, here's an elephant. Its beautiful back end. But this elephant does appear to be alone, which is a pretty good indication that that one is a male. So with elephants, the males are going to be more solitary. And if you ever were to find a big group of male elephants together, it would be called a bachelor herd. But we're heading into elephant territory, so fingers crossed we'll see some more. But if y'all do want to help out with any of the animal spotting, there is an animal spotting guide right above you. And it is just a tiny bit out of date, so not every single animal is still in the reserve, but most of them still are, so don't worry. But coming up here on your right, those are going to be some tusk marks in the red clay. And then if you can look on the ground on your left, it actually appears to be some elephant footprints in the mud, which should be a really good indication that there's elephants nearby. But red clay is going to be an extremely beneficial source of nutrients for many animals, and especially those elephants. So kind of like some of us might take vitamins every single day, they're going to use red clay. Now, elephants are going to be very massive, as you hopefully saw, so they should be pretty hard to miss. But elephants can actually weigh up to 5 tons. And with that, they're going to be eating up to 300 pounds of food a day, which is a crazy amount of food. And if you ever happen to wonder what an elephant is going to be afraid of, amongst other things, elephants are actually going to be scared of bumblebees. And so if any of y'all are scared of bees, your feelings are way more than justified. The animal that you can see pretty easily here on your left, these are the greater flamingo. They are going to be one of the lightest and most pale pink amongst flamingos. So this pink color you see is about all that they're going to get. And then if you take a look at that island that they're standing on, that's actually going to be a hidden Mickey. So the island's in the shape of a Mickey. But flamingos are pretty much going to be the definition of you are what you eat. So as most of you might know, they get their color from brine shrimp, which is an extremely microscopic type of thing that we as humans will probably not be able to see. But they sure do absolutely love it. And then a group of flamingos found together is called a flamboyance. But if you kind of look through this peephole on your left, you can very briefly see an elephant as we pass. Very briefly, but it's over there. And then this indentation in the ground on your left, it is a mud wallow, and it's actually pretty important. So animals like elephants and rhinos are going to have very sensitive skin, so they're going to use the mud as a protective layer. So they're going to roll around in it, kick it up on their backs, and plain just have fun. They're going to use mud like some of us might use sunscreen. And for them, it's also going to double as a bug repellent, so it's really just a win-win. And if you want to try and spot some camouflage animals, I do think they're in the next yard, but cheetahs will be on your left. And there's also a rhino who recently rolled around in the mud. Here on your left, this is a white rhino trying to eat a rock. The white rhinos are one of the biggest. They can weigh up to 5,000 pounds fully grown, and they're going to be incredibly social. So I'm sure the others are not too far behind. But then over on your left, they're going to be both on the left and the right side on your left, are cheetahs. There are 3 of them. Now cheetahs are made for speed. They can hit top speeds at just about 60 miles an hour. So once again, to put that into perspective, if you have been to Disney before, for the Hollywood Studios, and a rock and roller coaster, cheetahs can actually run a little faster than the initial takeoff of that ride. And then here on your left is a really big rock formation where larger predators do tend to hang out. But they are normally going to be more active at night, so we'll have to see if we can spot them. But if you look over on your right, here are the ostriches. Now ostriches are going to be one of the fastest animals on 2 legs. They can hit top speeds at just about 40 miles an hour. But then if you look to your left, those are the lions. And you're actually going to be in the presence of a celebrity. So that male lion right there actually was casted and does play Mufasa in Disney's live-action Lion King. So Disney actually used that lion's face and body to make up Mufasa. The lions are going to be sleeping and resting and relaxing for up to 20 hours a day. And they're going to be doing most of their hunting at night, as they have 6 times better eyesight in the dark. And typically the females will always do the hunting, and the males will just stay back and take care of the pride and the cubs. And since they are the protectors of the group, they are normally going to get first pick at whatever food is brought back. But then if you kind of look over your left shoulder up by the fence, there are some warthogs. Now warthogs are one of the largest burrowing animals. They can weigh anywhere from 110 to 330 pounds. But those ones are still younger, so they're still on the smaller side. And I think they're adorable. So just one of those eggs is about equivalent to 25 chicken eggs. And they're going to be incredibly strong and sturdy. So a fully grown male ostrich can completely stand on top of just one of those eggs. And they will not even begin to grab. If you have not already guessed, here at Animal Kingdom, and especially on the reserve, we're all about conservation. As most of the animals here are endangered, we're going to do everything we can to try and help out. So this is the Warden's Post on your left, and it does a great job of showing several ways to be environmentally friendly. But one of the cutest are these tiny goats. Now they are Nigerian dwarf goats, and they are fully grown and just about that size. And they can produce an extremely sweet type of milk that farmers can use to make a profit. Well, farmers will provide them with food, shelter, and anything else that their little hearts might desire. And with that being said, there's actually going to be several ways that you can help out with the conservation, even in your own homes. So currently, right now, elephants are going to be endangered, sadly. They are going to be poached for their tusk, which is the ivory tusk. And ivory is something that is pretty commonly found in many household products. So if you do want to help out any at all, maybe you just shouldn't have to buy so many products containing ivory. And then as always, you can donate directly to the Conservation Fund, if you'd like to, at most of the gift shops here in Animal Kingdom. And even if that is just rounding up your total to the next dollar, Disney is going to match that donation dollar for dollar. And if you do choose to donate here today, You're going to get a cool little button that says Conservation Hero. So you can go home and show all of your friends how you help save the environment. But it does look like our journey here today is sadly nearing the end. So now would be a great time to gather up all of those belongings because you don't really want to leave anything behind. Because if you do, it'll just be going in circles with me all day. But here in Harambe, we don't really like to say goodbye because that's just far too harsh and far too final. So instead we say Kwaherini, which means to go well. So Kwaherini everyone, go well, have fun, stay safe, stay wild, and enjoy the rest of your adventures you have here at Disneyland.